Welcome back, friends. Arlet here with two relationship Reddit stories that are similar in nature but from different perspectives, so make sure you stick around for both. The first couple's been together for 3 years. It doesn't say the ages on here, but he says, "My first girlfriend really messed me up and it took a long time to get over it and learn to trust women again. In fact, the first girl I've ever legitimately trusted and allowed myself to open up to is my current one, soon to be ex." Uh-oh. She knew about my past and issues, and witnessed firsthand what a cold piece of crap I was to other girls before we got together. I was planning on marrying her in the not-so-distant future, and she seemed over the moon about it. She brought up the idea of an open relationship before we got married and made it official, and my heart immediately sank into my stomach. She was the girl I didn't expect this from because she supposedly loved me and loved the idea of a traditional marriage, kids, etc. See, this is why in so many situations you can't just take a girl for her word. I've seen so many situations where women claim they want to be a traditional wife, only later to let their husbands or boyfriends find out down the road that that's the exact opposite of what they actually want or plan to be. Which is why, like I always say, you definitely need to vet women for a long time before you consider marriage, at least 3 years, so that when you're in this guy's position, you can get out before it's too late. But anyway, he continues, "She connected with some old friends recently who aren't too big on boyfriends or husbands, and I think they must have planted the seed. Yep, it's always the friends encouraging their girlfriends to act like skanks. Then these same types of women want to call men controlling and abusive, when the reality is these guys just know better than to let their girl hang around these types of people and be influenced by them. Because the result is always what I'm sure we're about to read here. Now don't get me wrong, there definitely are those guys who are way too overbearing and they're constantly trying to control their girlfriends and worried about every move they make when the girl's actually faithful, never is doing anything, and her friends are good people. But those aren't the situations I'm talking about. I'm talking about the situations where the guy knows his girl's friends are trash and he tries to avoid having her spend time with them because he's trying to protect himself, his relationship, and his girl from being affected by these people who don't have him or his girlfriend's best interest at heart. And a lot of the time, those guys get lumped in with the real crazy ones and accused of being the same as them, when in reality they're just being gaslit into being made to feel like they're crazy when they're doing exactly what they need to do to protect their relationship." So he continues, "All of those feelings of anger and betrayal came flooding back, and I don't think I'll ever truly get over it or trust women again as far as I can throw them in the context of a relationship. I sort of just went cold on her when she suggested the idea and said sure. She would have shut it down if she gave an iota of an F about me or my feelings after she saw my reaction, but I guess she didn't. Yep, seems like she was just interested in what she wanted, didn't care about you." Now here's where the story is going to get interesting. He says, "I downloaded a bunch of dating apps and started reconnecting with some of the girls I used to sleep with and with some of my other scummy guy friends, 2 of whom are club promoters." Uh-oh, where's this going? "I don't think I've stayed at our place for 3 consecutive nights, and I've been openly sleeping with other girls for months now." I can see how the way I'm going about things is devastating for her, but I just don't give a crap anymore. Emotionally speaking, it feels like I've just went back in time. I walked in on her crying in the bathroom several times, but I just walked back out and shut the door." It sounds like this relationship needs to end, but I guess if this is what you want to do, then it's what she asked for. "I don't ask her where she goes or who she sees. She's effectively just a roommate at this point, and I think that's what bothers her the most. We do still sleep together, but she's just another girl I stick my thing into at this point. It's just something I do on a rainy Sunday afternoon." It doesn't hold any real significance or meaning to me anymore. I would have moved out and just got a new place, but the lease wouldn't be up for a while, and I'm saving money for a house, so just breaking up and moving on isn't really a viable option at the moment. Yeah, I've been in a similar situation as this before as far as living with a woman you're not married to, and I definitely don't recommend it. I always tell guys, do not live with a girl until you're married to her or at least engaged, because you do probably want to test out what it's like living with her during the engagement if you're planning on committing, just to be sure you can handle it before making that final step. But as far as just boyfriend-girlfriend situations, it's always a terrible idea for this exact reason. You get locked into a lease, and then it's hard to get away when you know the relationship is over and you can't stand the person, but you're stuck for at least some period of time. If you always avoid living with them, then no matter what happens, you can easily make a break and never have to see him again. But anyway, he continues, "I really don't think I'll ever take what women say to me at face value." Yeah, that's what I said at the beginning of this. "All the I love yous just seem like empty words. Fool me twice, shame on me and all that. It just seems likely they'll stab you in the heart or hit you with some 'I'm not sure if I have feelings for you anymore' routine at some point. I've given up on the idea of permanence as far as a relationship goes, and I'll probably just find someone to have children with or co-parent at some point." Yeah, I can kinda understand where this guy's coming from, but it's a shame that he feels this way, because there are good women out there, but because he's been dealing with people like this, he's lost all hope, which is unfortunate because according to statistics, the best chance your children stand to have a good future is in a normal household with two loving parents. And it's why I hate reading stories like this, because it's a shame that so much of society is breaking down because people can't seem to be monogamous with one another. But this guy says, the only people I need in my life to get any real emotional fulfillment and whom forever applies to are blood relatives, and my 3 best bros who I've known for over a decade. Yep, bros before hoes, my friend. Everything else is just temporary. I hear this kind of thing all the time, and it seems like this guy's going down like a MGTOW path, which I don't have anything against that lifestyle, but I just feel bad for a lot of men who seem to have this mentality because it seems like so many women are messed up or so many people are just messed up in general that to a lot of people a good normal relationship seems impossible anymore. Good relationships definitely are still possible, but unfortunately for people these days, especially the younger generation who grew up with dating apps, having endless dating options and a need for instant gratification, it's becoming so hard for anyone to be able to settle down, which is unfortunate because having a good loving relationship with someone you trust and can be committed to really is the best thing, and it's definitely becoming more rare. So there's an edit down here that says, a lot of people seem to be under the impression that I should have voiced my disagreement, etc. But I think that would have been pointless. I'm not naive enough to think that she didn't already have someone in mind that she wanted to F. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Usually when a woman wants to open up a relationship, I've said this before, they already have someone in mind or are already cheating. Then they just use the open relationship thing as a way to justify what they've done or not have to feel guilt about it. So this guy might have some issues, but he sounds like he has his head on right in that sense. Then he says, if she hadn't already effed him, that is. Yeah, exactly. She knew what my views and history were, and she still decided to suggest something so disgusting. I mentally checked out of the relationship the moment an open relationship was mentioned. It's the most disrespectful and degrading crap you could possibly say to someone who has any self-respect. Yep, that's true, and good on you for having self-respect. A lot of people don't. It's borderline cheating in my opinion. Well, it's probably legit cheating, actually. No amount of communication would have changed my mind on the subject. She thought she could have her cake and eat it too. Yeah, that's what I always say. That's exactly what they want. Maybe she thought I didn't have any options and I would just grovel and go along with her gross suggestion like some spineless worm. Yep, she might have thought that, because a lot of men are like that, but luckily you're not. Then he says, again, please drop the communicate like an adult bullcrap. The relationship basically ended the moment she brought up the open relationship in my mind. Yeah, communicate like an adult? What do you want this guy to do? Is girl saying she wants to hook up with other guys, that there's no communicating from that point? Who the heck are these people in the comments? Probably a bunch of pathetic spineless people like the ones he's describing, or a bunch of women with the same mentality of his girlfriend. He says, I'd like to just walk away, but there's no way I'm breaking this lease agreement and eating the loss when I'm saving up for a down payment on a house. Good on you, man, but keep your mental health intact. It's kind of hard to live with someone you've already broken up with when all there is anger and resentment left. Like I said, I've been in this guy's exact situation before, only I was the one who did the breaking up, but I still didn't want to break the lease, and it wasn't good. Not because I was worried about what she was out doing. In fact, I encouraged her to go get another boyfriend because I was tired of dealing with her, but just because when you're living with someone you've rejected, you have no idea what she's capable of trying to do to spite you. Like they say, hell hath no fury. Then he finishes by saying, I'm comfortable with the uncomfortable situation for the time being. Yeah, well, good luck to you, man. I hope it stays comfortable, because a woman can make things really uncomfortable for you when she feels rejected and wants to get revenge. Then down in the comments, we have a bunch of idiots, and now I can see exactly why he made that edit that he did, because nobody seems to be on this guy's side. Everyone's telling him to get therapy, which I do think he probably should do if he has this general anger towards women and no positive outlook for a future with one. It's definitely not good to have a general negative attitude towards all women just because you made poor choices in picking them for your past relationships. I mean, sure, you can't control what people do and some negative behaviors are going to be unavoidable, but typically there are red flags or signs that you're with a bad person that people just ignore. So you kind of have to take some responsibility for your dating decisions. If every person you date is bad for you and causes you problems, then most likely you're the problem. And by that I just mean that you have a problem or an inability to pick good women. For some reason, you're subconsciously sabotaging yourself by picking women that you know aren't good for you and ignoring any of the signs that would tell you that's exactly the type of person they are. So if I were this guy, I would get therapy, or I would take a look at myself and the things I'm doing to bring these types of people into my life. And as far as his plan for permanently being single, not saying this is a guarantee, but he might be unhappy being single for the rest of his life. And like I already said, when you're in a good relationship, it can really be good. I mean, some of the happiest times in my life were when I was in good relationships. But also, if you can manage to be happy being alone, which most people can't, people in good relationships do tend to live longer, happier lives. But if being alone is what this guy truly wants, I can't say I blame him, because although I do believe being in a good relationship is the best scenario, being single is definitely better than dealing with the nonsense that comes along with a bad relationship. So then everyone in the comments is saying how angry and immature this guy is, and yeah, he does seem like he's a bit angry and he probably should do something to fix that, but I can't really blame him for giving his girl exactly what she wanted. If she didn't want him out hooking up with other girls or didn't want her relationship to fall apart, then she probably shouldn't have requested it be ruined by her going out and sleeping with other guys. Then some dopey chick says, "What sells it for me is her husband-hating friends planted the seed in her mind." And someone says, "Yeah, this reads fake." Well, I mean, of course it could be fake, but it's not like this kind of thing doesn't happen all the time. I mean, do these commenters really think there aren't women out there encouraging their friends to exhibit bad behaviors? What planet do these people live on? There are tons of men dating women who have shady friends trying to convince them to do things behind their boyfriend or husband's backs. I've seen it firsthand. I told this story in other videos about how I used to live with female roommates, one of whom had a boyfriend but was cheating and had a whole nother relationship going on with the guy across the street. All of her friends encouraged it, and now she's married to that guy. And this is hardly the only situation I've seen like this in my life. And like I've said before, if she plays with shit, she probably smells like shit. Women who exhibit these types of behaviors often stick together because they don't want to spend time with a traditional type of girl who wouldn't do these things knowing that that person's going to judge them. They'd much rather hang out with other women who are going to encourage and excuse their poor behaviors. And the more they continue to influence each other, the less moral they all become. Then in the comments, we have people saying, "Imagine just saying no instead of doing all this." It's like, yeah, then when he says no, she's just going to go and do what she wants anyway, and he's only going to find out down the road that she's been cheating on him. Give me a break. What are you people, blind? People are saying, "She doesn't deserve to be treated like just a roommate that he puts his thing in." Clearly she likes being the type of person who people just put their thing in. These commenters can't read between the lines. They're saying, if he isn't into it, he's capable of using his words like a big boy and actually talk things out with her. No. What is he gonna talk out? She has it in her mind that she wants to hook up with other people. He doesn't want her to, but he's not gonna be able to change her mind. Someone who has this mentality isn't just gonna be like, "Oh, I wanna go sleep with other people." Then when he says, "Well, I don't want you to," she says, "Oh, you don't? Okay, well, I'll just be monogamous to you then." It doesn't work that way. The only option here was for him to just break up, which would have been fine, or go along with what she said and then do all this knowing that he wasn't going to be committed to her, but knowing that he had to stick it out because of this lease situation. I mean, if she didn't want this outcome, she could have just been monogamous, and if she wasn't that type of person, she should have just moved on. They were together for 3 years. She obviously knew, like he said, that he had a past of girls doing shady things and not being the type of women he wants, not being traditional women like he wants. She knew that's what he wanted, and she for some reason wasted 3 years of his time before laying this on him right before they were going to get married. I mean, sure, the mature thing to do would have been to just be like, no, I'm not into this, and I think if this is the type of thing you want, then we should probably break up. But she ended up getting exactly what she wanted, and if she's open to being with other guys while she's with him, then I'm sure she would have no problem finding a relationship or finding attention from someone else. How upset could she really be that this guy's out doing what he's doing if she wanted to be out being with other people anyway? I'm sure she'll recover real quick. I mean, there definitely are non-monogamous relationships, but most of the time, when you've already been in a committed relationship with someone you know wants to be monogamous, and then they just bring this up, it doesn't work out. And the funny thing about this story is that typically in these situations, the woman is the one getting all the attention because it's so much easier for them than the man while he struggles. But in this situation, he went out and immediately was able to do his thing, and now people on Reddit are flipping out. I don't know. All I can say about this guy is I do hope he gets some kind of therapy or something to fix his problems with women, because clearly he is angry with them based on his past experiences, but I'm sure his girl is going to be just fine. But what do you think about this situation? Let us know down in the comments. And we got another similar story here, but make sure you click like or subscribe if you're new. So she's 29 and her husband's 28, and she says, "I'm writing this now partially to vent and also to seek guidance because I'm as clueless as can be. I met my now husband when we were 19. A year and a half ago we got married. We had what I always thought was a great relationship, but right now I'm discovering it was definitely beyond flawed. It all began a couple of months into our marriage when he told me that he wants us to open up our relationship. Why would this guy wait until 2 months after the marriage to try to open up the relationship? She says, "In order for you to realize the amount of shock and pain that befell me at the moment, I'll tell you a bit about my background. I come from a broken household, a daughter of an absent father who married a narcissistic and physically harmful mother, then decided I had enough with her and her children and left early on. The amount of dysfunction I lived through growing up left me for all of my childhood and the better part of my teenage years incapable of forming any healthy relationships of any kind." This chick's starting to sound like she has similar problems to that last guy, but for different reasons. Then he came along. He loved me so much and nurtured me with care. I looked at him as more than just a boyfriend. He was an entire family to me, a dear friend whom I could say anything to, open my heart to, and a refuge from all the neglect and pain. But what I saw for years as a loving, nurturing relationship was in reality a not so healthy parent-child dynamic that he bore the brunt of for years, and now he wants out of the monogamous marriage. He tells me he thought of leaving many times in the past, that he always wanted to be a free bird, untied by marriage or any construct of the type. He said he wished to try many relationships, we're the first people in each other's lives, so he could know what it was like to be with other people than me. Well, again, why would he wait until he was married to say all this? I mean, this is sort of a similar reaction to the last story. It's like, if you knew this is what you wanted, why wouldn't you say this up front? At least the girl in the last one didn't wait till after the marriage to bring it up to her man. He tells me he opted for staying because I was too vulnerable in the past, and having him leave or try his luck with other women would have destroyed me. Now that he thinks I'm stable enough, and given how strangled he feels in our monogamous relationship, he wants to change things. I thought about it long and hard, but no part of me can take even a thought of him being intimate with someone else. I've had it hard, real hard, and want a man all for me. Sharing him with another won't do. Being content with the leftovers and bits and pieces won't do. I know I get to have my share of playing around too, but I'm a woman who gives herself completely to whomever she loves and can't be with multiple people at the same time. It won't work. I know it's not in my bones, so I decided it's better we go separate ways. This will soon take place, and I don't know what to do or how to feel, what to think, how to go about it, how to act. I don't know the first thing about breaking up in a relationship that has gone on this long and burrowed its roots so deep into my soul. He's been a part of me for many years. I lost any sense of where I ended and where he began. The very thought of him not here makes me feel like a person who is soon to have a limb amputated. Well, if you think that it's so horrible not having him around, why not just let him do his thing and tell him not to let you know about it? If you think you're going to be this miserable when he's gone anyway, and he thinks he's going to be miserable being with you if he can't at least get some, action from other women, then just tell him not to let it be known when or where he's doing it, put it in the back of your mind, and just continue being with him. I mean, if you absolutely can't deal with that, I suppose I understand, because it would be hard to be with someone knowing that they're out doing other things. And I've been in this type of relationship before where a girl agreed to be the kind of woman who would just deal with me doing whatever, and even though she agreed to it, she still didn't seem completely happy that I wasn't committed just to her. But I don't know what to tell you. I guess you're just gonna have to get used to being alone or finding someone else, because it doesn't sound like things are working out. And given all the trauma you've had in the past, you don't want to be bringing that to a new relationship, so you should probably seek some therapy. So she says, "Judging from my words, you might think I have no life outside of him, but nothing can be further from the truth. I work in a creative industry, I earned a degree in STEM and work another 9 to 5 more stable job. I speak multiple languages, English is not even my mother tongue, and people tell me I'm extremely attractive and beautiful. I get hit on all the time, even as a married woman." Okay, well that really doesn't say anything, because guys are creeps, and if they're trying to get in your pants, they'll tell you you're beautiful even if you look like a hag. But I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and assume that you are attractive. She says, "I have good friends that I can hang out with from time to time, none though that I can tell all of this to." Well, that sounds a bit concerning. You say you have good friends, but none which you can rely on to tell something like this. I mean, that's the whole point of having friends. So how good could these friends really be if you can't tell them this, or why wouldn't you be able to tell them this? I mean, that's why you have friends, is so that when you deal with this kind of thing, you have someone you can talk to and rely on to make you feel better and give you some advice, or at least just give you a shoulder to cry on. You're over here listening to idiots like me on the internet instead of people you actually know. Then she says, "But yeah, all that doesn't matter when at the end of the day I have the self-esteem of an old, torn, and treaded up shoelace, and I feel like I don't even know how to exist without him." Never been in your situation before, so I can't really speak from personal experience, but if I did feel the way you do, I suppose the only thing that I could imagine doing to fix it would be just move on. I mean, find hobbies, do talk to your friends about these things, and try to find ways to occupy your mind so you're not thinking about it. If you were a man, I would probably tell you to go to the gym. Maybe you still should go to the gym even being a woman. I'm sure the fact that it releases endorphins when you work out works for females just as much as it does males. And although you say you can't imagine being without your man, if you're attractive, maybe you should be out there trying to meet some other guys or trying to do whatever you can to not think about it. So then down in the comments, someone asked her what happened when she told him she wanted to end the relationship rather than dealing with the open marriage thing. And she says he didn't really seem to care or backtrack. He's basically saying either open relationship or no relationship. So it seems like he probably just wants new relationships, doesn't really want to even be with her anymore, and he was just offering the open marriage thing as a consolation prize because he didn't have the spine to actually leave her. And I've been in this type of situation before. It's kind of like George Costanza on Seinfeld, if any of you have seen that. It's like sometimes for certain men, for some reason, it's just hard to break up with women. I don't know what it is, but I guess hurting their feelings is hard to do or something. Then this woman also says in the comments that she's already been in therapy for many years, so at least she's got that going for her. But anyway, what do you all think of this situation, or the first one? Let us know in the comments, and thanks to anyone who subscribed, click like, or share this video. My contact information's in the description, or join my Discord to chat with me or other like-minded people. The link is also below. Hope you all take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.